Hi guys, this is Orchid. Today I'm working on a cabinet I picked up at my local Salvation Army store. Initially they were asking $200. However, they have this policy whereby if an item hasn't sold by the end of a week, they'll decrease the prices and they do that until it has sold. So I got this, I think 2 months after for $60. This is after I'd cleaned it up. It does have quite a bit of scratches on it, but I think I did a fairly good job. It's a little too orange for my taste. It is a beautiful piece, I will say, with this color, but it's just not my taste. I like more of a ebony hue, and I'm just showing you one of my sideboards. I'm going for something closer to this color, not as dark. I'm using this Citristrip stripping gel. This was actually given to me by a girlfriend of mine. It's safe to use indoors, doesn't contain any methylene chloride, which is a carcinogen, and has a fairly pleasant orangey, citrusy smell. You do have to pour it into a metal container, they say, but I just used an old flower pot. You also still need to wear gloves. And if you are working in an area that there are wood floors, you better make sure you cover those wood floors because if it splashes on it, you are in trouble. It's going to take that varnish and stain off. So here I am using an old paintbrush to apply it. The white speckles that you are seeing are actually from the old paintbrush. They say that within 30 minutes of application, you should be able to scrape old varnish and stain off. Within 10 minutes of application, I could already see that it was working. You also have to make sure your drop cloth isn't something that it can soak through. So just make sure of that. Now this is a close-up after 15 minutes. And I'm using this spackling tool to scrape it off. That's actually what they recommend too. And look at that, guys. 15 minutes. This thing works like a charm. I mean, why do you need to sand then? I mean, I'm asking myself, why have I been sanding all these years if this thing is so good? Anyways, um, there is a little challenge in the cleanup after, probably why people still sand. But for the little grooves, I use a smaller spackle tool to get that out. And then I also wiped with an old rag. And after you have completed this, then whatever is left within the grooves, they recommend that you use mineral spirits, aka paint thinner, to clean it up. Now, sometimes, in some spots you will find areas that you missed where, the varnish didn't come off. I did have a few of those spots, and I think it had to do with my application, but all you need to do is to just sand it down with a sandpaper, like a 220 grit. And if you have a bit of sanding to do, you will need your tack cloth to kind of remove all that residue because you don't want that showing up when you apply your varnish and your polyurethane. So I didn't have a lot of spots. And you could even reapply the stripping gel to those spots to save you having to sand. So I took it outside so in the light so you can have a better idea of how well this thing works. Now I've used the Minwax brand in the past when I'm staining furniture. This is the color Ebony. When I applied the first coat, the color payoff on this wood was not that great. I would have had to apply several coats. So I went and purchased this Varathane wood stain. Promises that you only need one coat and that it dries within an hour. I got the color Kona. Beautiful color. You do need to stir this Remember, it has been sitting on the shelf, not shake. I'm a shaker, so I just got to tell you guys, I know there are those of you who will shake the can. They recommend that you stir. It's a really beautiful color, and you do only need one coat. Now, how did I apply this? I applied it using a t-shirt fabric, and then I went in with a rag to kind of remove the residue. I inadvertently deleted the footage of me applying the stain to the cabinet. So here I am going to show you how I did that using the door of the piece. Do you see that color payoff, guys? So much better than the main wax. So I guess I just have to let Mr. Minwax know that we are getting a divorce. I also use the polyurethane for the same brand. They recommend 3 coats. You can put the second coat on 2 hours after the first, and you do need to use a synthetic brush for that. What I did in between coats, I soaked my brush in mineral spirits, paint thinner. You see those residue on it? That forced me to be cleaning the brushes in between coats. So first coat, then 2 hours after the second coat, then the next day the third coat. This is what the polyurethane looks like. You do need to stir it. Now FYI guys, the day after I completed this project, I went into Dollar Tree and they had synthetic brushes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have saved my $6 that I paid for that one brush and bought 3 of these and just throw them out in between coats. It was so tedious having to clean, the brush in between the coats. So great information for you should you decide to do some staining. Now in applying the stain, you can't put it on the way you would paint regularly. You have to put enough on your brush that you can do one smooth stroke all the way down the piece. You can't put too much because if you do, you're gonna see the brush strokes, you're gonna have streaks, and it will probably dry with that milky hue. I'm not a professional, I'm only talking from experience, trial and error. That's how I got it, guys. But if you just take your time, as usual, take your time and smooth it on. I also removed the stain from the fretwork that was in the front of the piece, and I stained one side, and the other side I sprayed in gold because I wanted to give myself the option of having 2 different looks. And here is the somewhat unfinished product, guys. I'm just using another mirror to kind of give you an idea of the look I'm going for. The 2 Lowe's in my areas that sell and cut the mirrors to the exact dimensions you need, they are both broken and they don't know when they'll be up. So I just wanted to share this with you. I am fairly pleased with how it turned out. I got the color I really wanted. I also have the option of having the fretwork in gold or in the darker stain as you're seeing now. I much prefer the gold. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. Bye now.